Today we are learning about the events who shapes our world as of today. Before going forward, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. What is the most important event of the 20th century? Historians may continue to debate this subject for many years to come, but Americans might say it is World War II. 3 of the top 5 events of the century. According to a recent survey conducted by Gallup, were the war in general, the holocaust that was carried out by the Nazis throughout the war, and the dropping of the atomic bomb on Japan, which assisted in bringing the war to a successful conclusion. There is no question that historical events have had a role in shaping the world in which we now reside. Throughout history, the globe has seen a great number of momentous shifts. There are times when these occurrences have a good impact on the globe and other times when they have a detrimental impact. It is possible to see the course of history as a chronological progression of key milestones, such as the development of fire and agriculture, as well as conflicts and technological advances. It's even conceivable to make the case that some of these innovations have fundamentally altered the way humans have evolved. Throughout history, we will unravel the secrets behind the top historical events that have shaped the very fabric of our world. Number 1. Ancient Egypt. Our journey starts with the majesty and mystery of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs. These great monarchs, who were hidden from view by towering pyramids, had the answer to the riddle of the universe. It is still a mystery how these people were able to build such architectural marvels as the Giza Plateau. That it is a clear indication of their might. However, there is a school of thought among historians that these pyramids were not only constructed as tombs but also as conduits to link with the powers of the heavens. Our research into the Egyptian pharaohs' mysteries leads us to an interesting mix of science and religion, with their exact alignment to the stars and complex math. The pyramids show that the builders had a deep understanding of the universe. People think that these ancient rulers tried to harness the power of the heavens by talking to the forces of the sky through the pyramids. It's possible that these beautiful buildings weren't just tombs but also entrances to a higher realm where the pharaoh could go beyond the limits of this world and talk to the gods. Our imaginations are still captivated by the mysterious world of the Egyptian pharaohs, and we are still amazed by what they accomplished. The Knight Templar was the enigmatic organization of the Knights Templar which was responsible for the conquest of most of medieval Europe. These unseen warriors kept holy riches and clandestine information under wraps, shielding it with their code of conduct and ensuring that no one else could access it. They may have found powerful relics that had been concealed from prying eyes, such as the Holy Grail in the Ark of the Covenant. According to some tempting hypothesis, we find a web of secrets and lies that goes back hundreds of years to the mysterious world of the Knights Templar. There are stories and rumors that they were involved in secret rituals and old prophecies and even had ties to the mysterious Freemasons. The Templars had a lot of power and influence that went beyond their military skills. They were also very good at business and diplomacy and became very wealthy and powerful, but as they became more famous, people were angry and scared of them, which eventually brought them down. The Templars were persecuted and broken up because they were thought to be practicing heresy and worshipping the devil. They left behind a legacy that is still shrouded in mystery and speculation. The Renaissance. As we go farther back in time, we get to the beginning of the Renaissance, which was a time when people dreamed of revolutionary ideas in the shadows of society. The printing press, an innovation that fundamentally altered the path of history, made it possible for those who were previously excluded from access to information to get access to it. Questions began to arise, and an unstoppable wave of enlightenment emerged from the secret manuscripts. As the whispers became written down, people were very interested in learning and exploring new ideas. During the Renaissance, with the printing press on their side, scholars and thinkers were able to question the accepted truths and discover new things. People became eager to learn when ideas were spread through printed materials. This gave people the power to question the authority of the ruling elite. As the secret manuscripts were turned into widely available books, the realm of knowledge that had been closed to everyone else became open to everyone who wanted to learn. This newfound ease of access not only sparked a desire to learn but also gave people who'd been left out for a long time a sense of empowerment and freedom. The Renaissance was a turning point in history. It was during this time that ideas and writings started to change society. The French Revolution, a time of turmoil during which the executioner's awful secret was the guillotine. The sounds of liberty, fraternity, and equality resonated through the cobblestone streets, engraving for all time and eternity the principles of democracy into the annals of history. However, unseen webs of conspiracies were woven, shadow alliances were formed, and political agendas influenced the result of this momentous event. Normal individuals got caught up in the revolution's whirlwind. Amidst the chaos and death all over Paris, people were calling for justice and change. The guillotine with its cruel blade became a sign of power and fear because it killed both innocent and guilty people. But even though things were bad, hope flickered like a candle in the wind. Freedom, brotherhood, and equality were ideas that gave people who were being oppressed fire in their hearts and made them want to change the course of history. But behind the scenes there were plans for secret groups to use the revolution to get what they wanted. Secret groups planned in rooms with low lighting, making complicated webs of lies and betrayal. It was unclear what would happen with the French Revolution because political goals were at odds with each other and alliances were made and broken. This important event in history would have an impact not only on France but also on the whole world, leaving an indelible mark on the pages of history. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was a huge change that shook society to its core. It also holds many secrets that not many people know. It looked like invisible hands quickly pulled the strings in boardrooms to power the factories that built empires and mechanized production. The fight for workers' rights and the start of labor unions happened in secret, but they caused changes that could be felt all over the world. Not only did the Industrial Revolution change the economy, but it also had a huge impact on society and culture. The factories were making things at a rate that had never been seen before, but the working class had to deal with terrible conditions and low pay. But in the middle of the darkness a glimmer of hope appeared. Workers got together and formed labor unions to fight for their rights and asked to be treated fairly. It wasn't long before these unions were strong enough to stand up to the industrialists and fight for better working conditions, shorter hours, and higher pay. The start of labor unions was a turning point in history. It caused a wave of change that spread across continents and motivated workers all over the world to speak out and demand their fair share. World War I, a global conflict involving major powers, irrevocably transformed the geopolitical landscape. The horrors witnessed in the trenches and the political fallout reshaped warfare and diplomacy, sowing the seeds for future conflicts and altering the balance of world powers. The famous talked about World War II. As we go down the hidden route of history, we eventually come to the mystery that is known as World War II. Behind the bloody wars and widespread destruction, a web of lies was built, keeping it hidden from the view of the general population. Secret operations were carried out by governments. Espionage grew and double agents donked to the tune of cloak and dagger. An unsettling illustration of the covert operations that sustained the war machine was the atomic bomb initiative, sometimes known as the Manhattan Project. In the shadows of this secret world, scientists and engineers worked hard in complete privacy, driven by the need to make a weapon that would change the course of history forever. The smartest people from all over the world worked together on the Manhattan Project, which was secret and covered in layers of security. The unimaginable power of nuclear fission was created by all of their work. This power can destroy whole cities in an instant. The responsibility they felt as the project went on grew heavy on their shoulders. They had the power to change the world as they knew it. The Manhattan Project had to be kept secret at all costs because any information getting out could have terrible results. This project's secret nature showed how far countries were willing to go to get an edge in the war, blurring the lines between what was moral and what was necessary. The Cold War. In the 1960s, the world was witness to the height of the Cold War, which was characterized by a lethal dance of espionage and covert operations between the superpowers. In the shadows behind the Iron Curtain, spies discussed sitive information that had the potential to shift the balance of power. It was decided that protecting national security was more important than being transparent, which led to the Cuban Missile Crisis, which pushed the world to the brink of nuclear devastation and put a covert battle of intelligence on the verge of becoming catastrophic. During this time of high tension, both the US and the USSR were constantly looking for information and used spies and double agents to give them themselves the upper hand. The whole world held its breath as secret operations took place in the dark, with both sides trying to trick the other. The stakes were unbelievably high, and even the smallest mistake could have terrible results. During this time, there were secret battles that were not only about military strength but also about how to balance power and ideology in a way that worked for everyone. Everyone in the world was nervous because they knew that one wrong decision could send people into the depths of nuclear destruction. There was always a threat of global war during the Cold War, which showed how fragile peace is. Watergate affair. Our investigation has led us to the murky incident known as the Watergate affair, which was a political cover-up that occurred at the highest levels of authority. The president was finally overthrown as a result of secret recordings, clandestine break-ins, and conspiracy cover-ups that took place in the shadows. Because of the dogged determination of the media to find the truth, a previously unknown scandal was brought to light which irrevocably altered the connection that exists between journalism and politics. People in the United States learned a lot from the Watergate scandal, which showed how corrupt politics or people's trust in their government was broken. When secret tapes and break-ins were made public, it made it clear that no one was above the law, not even the president. The media did a great job of finding the truth by investigating and reporting on the scandal non-stop. Their relentless pursuit of the facts not only made those responsible answer for their actions, but it also changed the relationship between politics and journalism for good. The Watergate scandal changed the course of history and made us realize how important it is to have a free press and open government. The Berlin War. The Iron Veil of secrecy was torn down as the Berlin Wall came down. This historic event, which spanned borders and ideologies, was a watershed moment. Those people who were imprisoned behind it started making happy shouts and crying tears of delight. Previously, they had just been muttering and looking around stealthily. An achievement that will be inscribed into the hidden history of mankind was reached when the secret realm of the Cold War gave way to open borders and newly discovered freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a turning point in history that showed how unity can win over division. As the concrete walls came down, there was a wave of hope and optimism around the world. Families and friends who had been split up for too long were able to get back together. Berlin, which used to be split in two, became a symbol of strength and unity, showing us that walls can come down and bridges can be built. As a reminder, the fall of the Berlin Wall shows that the human spirit is strong and can overcome even the biggest problems. The fact that it still stands shows how strong unity is and how much people want freedom. The revolution of humans. At last we reached the digital revolution, a turning point that subtly altered every facet of human existence. Behind the scenes, forward-thinking innovators like as Bill Gates and Steve Jobs revolutionized human interaction and the distribution of knowledge. The once mysterious realm of coding has become the driving force behind a paradigm change that is continuing to cascade across our global civilization. As technology has improved, this transfer of power has resulted in a cascading effect throughout our society. Finally, our investigation into the mysterious historical happenings that have contributed to the formation of our present-day world has concluded. Keep in mind, fellow explorers of the truth, that the tapestry of history is replete with hidden shadows that are just waiting to be uncovered and comprehended. Continue to explore deeper into the secret layers of our history. Until the next time we meet, for that is where you will find the key to understanding our present and influencing our future. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share.